Hello, my name is Dan and I'm a guide. I arrange tours in Stockholm. I'm born and raised in the city and I have a passion for history and folklore. My tours will bring the things you see to life by giving you an in-depth perspective on their stories, both historic and folkloric. Come, I will give you a sample. When walking along the main tourist street in Stockholm Old Town, you may notice some reliefs above the doors. One of them has a special story attached to it. His name is Herr Måns, and you can see him here. The story of Herr Måns takes place in the 18th century. A ship in the southern Baltic has been adrift for 3 days without wind. In desperation, the first mate takes a coin and throws it overboard into the sea as an offering. To his surprise, the sea opens up like a door, and a mermaid steps out. She climbs aboard to speak with him, and she tells him that she can certainly solve the problem of there being no wind, but she requires a favor in return. The favor she asks for is that the first mate deliver a letter to Västerlånggatan 24 to Herr Måns. The first mate agrees to deliver the letter without delay when he arrives in Stockholm, and the mermaid returns to the sea. Afterwards, the wind picks up and they make good speed to Stockholm, arriving after 5 days. Once they've arrived in Stockholm, it's time to unload the ship, and it's the first mate's duty to oversee the work when they unload the ship. And this takes 2 days. After these 2 days, the first mate goes to Västerlånggatan 24 to deliver the letter. He knocks on the door, and an old servant woman opens and lets him in. He explains his errand, that he's to deliver this letter to Herr Måns. But the old servant woman seems a little confused and just says, "Oh no, the man of the house is not named Måns." A young servant woman walks by and laughs and says, "Herr Måns, but that's what we call our cat." The large black cat then appears. It jumps up onto the table and reads the letter. The cat then weeps and speaks. It says, "You were to deliver this to me without delay, but you've broken your promise, and you have not done so. And now it's too late." The cat then jumps up onto the first mate and rips its throat. Then the cat escapes through the door, jumps on top of the door, and turns to stone. The people then try to read the letter, but it's written in an incomprehensible language. And that's the end of the story of Herr Måns. The story of Herr Måns may seem a little strange at first, but I will explain some folkloric tropes to make it easier. The more monstrous trolls that we see in modern media are a product of the 19th and 20th centuries. In the 18th century and before, trolls were simply some kind of vague magical creature. They were always shapeshifters. They were always magical, they were always dangerous and rich, but they weren't necessarily unattractive. And one of the most common shapes in which to see a troll was that of a large black cat. And there are many other similar folk tales of delivering messages to cats. One of the more common types is to tell the cat that someone is dead, upon which the cat responds with, "Well, if that person is dead, then I am the king of the trolls," and then runs away. And it's in this context that we are to understand the story of her. Now, as to what the relief above Västerlånggatan 24 actually depicts. In 1744, the fur trader Nicolaus Björk purchased the house, and as an advertisement he wanted 2 reliefs carved above the doors depicting the seal of the Fur Traders Guild. The seal of the Fur Traders Guild was a marten, an animal related to minks and wolverines. But the artists who were to carve the seals had never seen a marten and could only guess as to what he looked like from the furs, and that's how we ended up with these cat-like creatures above the doors of Västerlånggatan 24.